Hey, welcome to the first episode of Is It 40 Friendly, where I take a look at group buys and see how the 40% keycap coverage is, as well as how many kits you might have to potentially buy to get that good coverage. Now, this video is going to be timestamped, so you can skip to the general discussion as well as my overall verdict. Right now, I have 4 designations for group buys, and this is very much an evolving thing. First one, of course, is It 40 Friendly, where hey, we have pretty decent coverage and we'll probably be able to cover most kits. It's all right for 40%, where we might have some decent coverage, but we also might have to buy multiple kits to get that coverage. 40 okay, where there was an attempt that was made, but it's not very good. And we've all come across that, oh, it's got a 40 kit. Oh, it's got 3 keycaps. Oh, it's $60. Oh, fantastic. This is great, yeah. And then not 40 friendly at all. And that's where really no attempt was made. Probably another one that we're all too well used to. Now, this is the first episode, so bear with me, might be a little bit rough. I am very much open to suggestions. No, I'm not going to do a list, because if you do a list, it just kind of disappears the day after you post it anyplace. And this is looking to be a bi-monthly series, so I'm going to do 2 of these a month so I don't do too much spam. And if there's anything you want me to check out, I will be posting this to Reddit. I will be including that link to that Reddit post in the description. Please leave a comment. Let me know if there's anything you want me to keep an eye out for. I can't guarantee I'm going to be able to cover everything, but I will do my best. Also, stick around to the end because there's an intro I want to get some opinions on for the series going forward into the future. It is supposed to be a little silly, so bear with me on that. Not too silly, of course. So let's go ahead and get into our first group buy. Alright, so the first one we're going to be taking a look at here is the GMK Space Cadet 2 group buy that Novelkeys is putting on there. And since this is a GMK set, usually we have some things already covered for the 40% kits, accidentally in most cases. In the base kits, they usually give a pretty decent base kit. They tend to run kind of high, 120 for this one. But again, let's see what it kind of covers. And this one looks a little sparse there. So row 2, we're just going to go down by row here. We have 1.5 unit backspace. If you're rocking a minivan, I believe that's the one you guys are using for that. Row 3, you got nothing, unless you're weird and you have a page up and a page down. There, no judgment there, no judgment. Some judgment. Row 4, let's see what we're rocking here. Now, oddly enough, I think this actually has pretty okay. Okay, we got something here for the shift. 175 unit. If you're rocking a staggered 40% layout, that's a pretty common key we have there. Control, Alt, we have an additional 1 unit. So if you're using something like a plank, like I do, or a Sir KBD, Akira, we have some additional there. Those are not always abundant in the 40s kits. It might give you one unit on those, but not always 2. So it's nice to have at least 1 in the base kit. So you know you're getting something. 1 unit super, that replaces a 1 unit Windows key. At least that's how I tend to use it. It's probably wrong, but I'm going to do it anyway. But that's kind of it for the base kit. So the base kit has this cover on on some things. If you're using 1.5 unit bottom row keys, kind of fills in some of the blanks there. If you're using a larger shift space, you have that kind of coming to you here. But let's go ahead and let's take a look here. And there is a 40s kit at $60. $60 for that guy. Let's take a look here and all right. Space bars. If you're worried about space bars, they got you covered. They're all convex, so no having to worry about the concaved space bars like I have here on my laser SA keycaps I'm currently using. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Row 2 deletes. That's standard in the base kit, so we know we have that. Row 2, we have an escape, tab, backspace. Okay, that's pretty good. But let's see here. And we have a row 3 escape, and tab, and enter. So I use a more conventional plank layout where your default plank is tab, escape, and it enters on the 4th row, which I hate. I hate that. I hate the default plank layout. Sorry, Jack. But that's no. And row 2 tab's nice if you have an ortholinear or a ergo 50% keyboard, where you still have a number row. So that could be a bit of a benefit there. If you're using a larger backspace, I don't think... Yeah, if you're using like a 1 1/4, 175 backspace on a 40 for some reason, those are pretty hard to come by. Row 2. Row 3, we have 175 enter, we have a 1/4 enter, we have a 1/4 tab. If you're using a core, you're scored away. If you're using quite a few keyboard layouts that use that 175, 125, they got you covered. 1.5, you ain't got it. As well as that 1 unit enter. I don't know what that rub out is precisely. I mean, I know what that does on a typewriter, but I don't know what they're implying there. Row 4, shifts. Okay, so we had a 175, 175 or 125 on that base layout. 175, okay, so we have 175 on the base, we have 125 there, so you have that shortened right hand shift. We have two 1-unit shifts, so if you have the 1-unit shifts on both sides for an ortholinear style keyboard, they got you covered. I tend to use an FN on that row 4 myself, but raise and lower, got the extra B's on there, which also seem to be standing in for menu keys. That's interesting. I prefer to use, if I can, either FN or space bars or some type of novelty keycap for my row 4 raise and lower keys, but looks like they give you they double up on the space bars. So I can have the blues for my raise and lower, and I can have the gray for my actual space bars on my plank. But again, space bars, they have you covered. It's decently 40 friendly. I'd call it 40 okay. Mainly on that lower row, we're missing a lot of the modifiers. We don't have an extra control. We don't have an extra alt or menu key, a Windows key, which is kind of inconvenient for me because I do use a menu key down there. So is GMK Space Cadet 40 friendly? Yeah, I'd call it 40 all right, is what it is. I mean, you're spending $60 on that kit plus the 120, so you're looking at $180 there. You can fill in some of the gaps with the novelties. True Cadet, let's take a look at okay, so True Cadet gets us additional controls and alts. So if you are using two 1-unit controls on there, and also the hyper key, which I will sometimes substitute in for that menu key. If you want full coverage, some of your keyboards you might have to go to the True Cadet. So I'm going to call it, I'll call it 40 all right. It's pretty good on the 40s for the Novel Keys Space Cadet, or Novel Keys GMK Space Cadet 2 group buy. Okay, and after that we have Cat Refined. So Cat Refined is, well, it's a cat kit, so it's a sculpted style kit. It looks like this one goes 4-1, so it's descending instead of ascending in terms of the rows. I have to remember that because that's going to throw me for a bit of a loop. And it's a PBT die sub kit. Those tend to be fairly inexpensive, luckily. Looks like the alphas are $42. That's not too far out there. They give you two different colors there. Well, let's take a look at the modifiers. Oh, sorry. I jumped right to it. That's the 40s. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 40s. Now, taking a look here at the list, though, looks like they separate the 40s from the orthos. And that's not always a good thing, because that sometimes means that, hey, if I happen to have an ortholinear keyboard as well as a staggered 40% keyboard, I got to buy two kits. But let's take a look here at the 40s first. $35 for that kit. Nah, that's not too bad. That's actually pretty good, I think. And let's see what we got. Okay, so row 3, we have tab, escape, 175, 1.5, and 1-unit backspaces. Pretty good. I'm going to call that pretty good for row 3. Usually row 2. Row 2 here, we got 125, 1/2 for the tab. So that covers a good amount of the staggered layouts, but I'm not seeing a 1-unit tab or a 1-unit enter on here. Do have what appears to be, looks like they have a typo there, but a 175, a 1.5, and a 1/4 enter, as well as FN key. So if you do use FN key on your, that's second row down from the top on a 40, they got some options there. If it happens to be a 1-unit, well, it's not going to be the kit for you. And taking a look here at shifts, it is not shiftless. It does have you covered there. However, if you are using a 1-unit enter on that 4th row, you're not going to have it there. Again, just taking a look at this, if you have a staggered 40 layout, this will probably have a wide variety of those keyboards covered. Vans, Cores, UT47s, like the AMG 40s, and some of those weird ones we don't see as much anymore for some reason. Or maybe I just don't notice them. But there's a 1-unit shift. There's a 1-unit shift. I do like to see that. So if you're running arrows, that might get some additional compatibility there. Row 1, control, system, code. We have alts on there. We have quite a few alts. We have quite a few systems of varying sizes, controls of varying sizes, a 1-unit FN. Sometimes they don't include that 1-unit FN in there, but only one. So if you have a couple of FNs, so if you like have one like on your row 3 and one on your row 4, row 4 and row 5, I should say, you're kind of screwed here. You're kind of screwed. Space bars seem to be fairly good, except they only give you one 1-unit space bar. So if you happen to have like that 1 unit in between two larger space bars, they have you covered there, which you don't tend to see too often, oddly enough. But so if you have a staggered 40, this will pretty much have you covered. But if you're running an ortho, this is not going to be the kit for you. So if we come down here to the ortho set, and it's a pretty good ortho set. They have escapes for both row 4, row 3, row 2, row 3, I should say. Deletes and backspaces. They don't have a row 3 enter. And that, let's see, hold on. Is this also, this might be taking consideration 50%. Hold on. Oh, this is taking into consideration 50%. Good job, Shifty. Okay, let's look at it a little bit differently. So we're rocking on row 3, usually the row 2. Escape, tab, delete backspace. Row 2, we're rocking an escape, tab, control. That's nice to see if you happen to like that that third row control. And enter, when you need enter, and as well as when you need shift. As well as some blank keys. That's kind of interesting that they're giving you blank keys on that row. Row 1, we have a couple of shifts. We have enters if you're going with bog standard plank layout. And we have decent bottom row coverage here. I'd like to see maybe 1 or 2 more FNs for my own use. But they do give you, of course, the lower arrays for the ortho linear. Codes for menu, system, alt, controls. The ortho linear spacebar gambit. That's not going anyplace there. So this, they give you the coverage for orthos as well as 40%, but you have to buy 2 kits. So if you just have ortho keyboards, you're good. $26. They got you squared away there. If you just have staggered 40s, you're good, unless you happen to have a delete. I just thought of that here. If you use a delete as well as a backspace, so like for example, if you have a core, this kit isn't going to have you fully covered. You're going to have to probably pick up the mods here. That's another $38. So if you have to have a 1-unit delete on that second row, that top row, you're gonna have to spend an extra $38, or potentially have it covered in. Let's see, novelties. Where are our novelties on here? Extra mods. That's extra mod. Extra mods doesn't even touch it. Doesn't even come close. So with this one, most of your staggered 40s, you're gonna be pretty well covered with that 40 kit. Cores, you're not. You almost got it. I completely forgot about the deletes, since that's not included with the alphas, which is a little disappointing, admittedly. If orthos, that ortho kit's going to cover you. If you have both ortho and staggered 40%, like I do, you're going to have to buy both those kits if you want to have it cover all those keyboards. If your staggered 40 is a core, like mine is, well, guess what? I get to buy the modifieds if I wanted this kit. Luckily, this isn't one I'm interested in, but if I was, I'd be looking at potentially having to buy 4 kits just to cover all of my keyboards without including novelties or anything extra like that. Now, I'm just going to cut in here really fast because I realized my mistake while I was editing. So in reality, you don't have to buy the modifiers to get that 1-unit delete. It is there in the ortho kit, but you will have to buy an additional kit to get that 1-unit delete if you're using a staggered layout. Just want to throw that out there. I always want to make sure I'm giving at least halfway decent information. Now, on with the rest of the boring lecture, which is a little disappointing. If you're using some oddly shaped space-bars, that doesn't have to be covered by the 40s kit or the ortho kits, because some of the 40s do use a like a 6-unit, 6.25 unit spacebar. Well, and you also got to spend an extra $16 for your spacebar kit. But that's true for most kits. So is the cat refined 40 friendly? I'd say it's 40 okay. it's okay with a 40. If you have a lot of different 40s, it's a problem. If you have a core, it's going to be a bit of a problem. But if you just have like just ortho, just staggered, it'd probably be a pretty decent kit for most of those. So after that, we have GMK Red Dragon. GMK keycaps, their base kits oftentimes will knock out a lot of those requirements we have for 40% keyboards here. So let's take a look at that base kit. So row 2, 1.5 unit backspace, if you happen to use one of those. Nothing on row 3. Row 4, they have you covered for shifts. So if you're worried, if you are using 175, 125 for like your core, they got you squared away there. They have an extra control and alt. So if you're doing both ends of an ortho keyboard or a ergonomic keyboard or something like that where you use 2 controls alts, 1 units, you might be fine with that. As well as a 1 unit Infinikey. Always like to see that. Okay, now they are not using standard names for these kits. That's always fun. Micro, I'm going to assume that's 40. That looks like a 40. And, well, that is your 40 kit, it appears. Let me make sure. Let's make sure here. Dragon, that's novelties. We got the Rama caps here. Okay, accents. Or space bars. Okay, let's take a look here. Row 2, escape, tab, backspace. That's oddly generous. Against GMK kit, if you're rocking a core where you have both that 1 unit backspace as well as 1 unit delete, you're good. Because they include all the mods in that base kit, that $135 base kit. Row 3. Okay, well, they were nice enough to have a row 3 escape, but they don't have a 1 unit tap. They do have a 1 1/4. That's going to cover a lot of the staggered 40s. But my plank and my ortho, my ergo keyboards are out, and a 175 unit space, or sorry, 175 unit enter. That's gonna leave out a bunch of staggered 40 kits, but cover a good chunk of them that I tend to see out there. Ortho, it's a no-go. Row 4, they give you a 1 unit shift, so pretty much any shift you need, you're gonna have covered. Enter. If you happen to be using the bog standard plank layout, they're going to have you. They have lower raise, the 1 units. Space bars almost have it. They're missing a 175, so your cores is out. But a lot of your staggered 40s are still kind of in here. So while they made an effort with GMK Red Dragon, is it 40 friendly? Not really. GMK Red Dragon is not really 40 friendly. It's very sparse on the 40%. Some people's layouts might be covered. None of mine are. None of mine are. Most of the ones I tend to see lurking out there aren't. You might be able to also plunk down for an additional $38 the novelties and might get a little extra coverage, but your row 3 isn't going to have you covered. Row 4. Yeah. And again, I mean, this is a $33 kit, right? And that's all you're getting with that. So this is probably not going to be, if you like this kit and you're a 40 user, there's a good chance this is not going to have you covered. Might, but more than likely not. If you bought a plank and you have not changed the default or the top layer at all, you might be able to get away with it. I can't myself. Okay. So moving on from there, we have GMK Demon Sword. That's a oddly bright cap. I would have expected the last one to be called Demon Sword. But let's take a look here. It's GMK kit. Let's see what the base kit looks like. Your shifts are decently covered. You have a 1.5 unit backspace, Control Alt, F 1 unit FN. Okay, so we got some options here. It's GMK, so if you use a row 2 delete, they got you squared away there. And okay, we do have a 40s kit here with it. What is that? Both. Okay, that's just different colors and space bars. Space bars, we should be fine for $35 if the 40s kit doesn't happen to cover it. Okay, this one looks like it exists. Top row is good. We got backspace, we got tab, we got escape. Second row, row 3 I should say. We have the escapes, we have tab. Okay, we have a 1 1/4 unit tab. We have a 175 unit. It looks like, is that 175 or is that just 1.5? Huh. That looks like, okay. I think the second and third row on here are all row 3s. That makes more sense than everybody using a longer row 4 enter here. So it looks like we have pretty decent coverage on the row 3 enters. Would be nice if they had labeled that, but it's 40. I mean, who's really going to look at this, right? But no 1 unit enter, which is a little disappointing. Very sparse on the row 4 stuff. So for my use, I'd probably have to live if I went this direction. And I'm using a CRKBD Akira plank. I might just have to live with that non-correct profile enter on here. I do with GMK laser. I survive with that. But it's okay. It's okay. If you're rocking an ortho keyboard, no. Just some of the options aren't there. I mean, they got your shift. They got the enter if you're rocking a bog standard plank layout. If you're using a more conventional style plank layout like I do, that's a little more laid out like a traditional keyboard. Then you're gonna have to make some compromises, and there's just not a lot of coverage for row 4 as far as the modifiers go. Spacebars, they got you. Everything else there, not looking too good. So this one I'm gonna call okay. Okay, for $44.99. It's okay for 40%. A lot of you guys might be 100% covered there, but pretty sparse. Okay, so now we have Cat Lala. Unlike the previous cat kit, this luckily goes in ascending order down, so I'm not going to be lost and getting confused constantly. Okay, so base kit, they give you TKL coverage. Okay, TKL coverage, which also means a row 2 delete, means all of your 1 1/4 modifiers on the bottom, means you get arrows. Okay. And they give you a couple different options, light, white alphas. You can just buy the alphas. And the modifiers in themselves. Ooh, okay. So for $40, it looks like you get a bunch of modifiers. That's not bad. Alt is a completely different color. Or go dark, go light, white. I'm just kind of taking a quick peek here around here. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at these modifiers, because there's a lot of coverage in these modifiers. This is very promising, and my hover zoom isn't working, so I'm just gonna have to, I guess, click on this. Okay, so we're gonna jump right down to row 2. It's a cat kit's highly sculpted, just like essays. That row can make a pretty big difference. However, unlike essays, unfortunately, row 4 or the bottom row and row 3 are usually not the same, which makes looking at essay keycaps a little easier. So, row 2, no escape. We got shift, we got tab, we got backspace, no escape. And if I remember correctly, the rows are, where's the base kit? Pull that base kit up. Yeah, so top row, or your F keys are row 0. Num line is row 1. Row 2, okay. That's where we're starting. Okay, so there's no parity there. So this is already out for a lot of people. If you're using like a default van layout, that tab can work for you. If you're using, and yet there's row 3 escape. If you're using bog standard plank layout, yeah, row 3 probably has you covered. Oddly enough, they include a row 3 enter. I have mixed feelings on this. If they had a row 2 escape, this would look a lot better. 1/2 unit backspaces, covers a lot of different keyboards. Let's see here. No row 3 tab. Not 1 unit, not 1 1/4. That is kind of sad there. Let's take a look here. What is a base? Yeah, base is a 1.5. Okay, for the tab. Shifts. Well, this is shift paradise, unless you happen to use 2 1-unit shifts, which I don't tend to see too often. Though there are plenty of people that do use that. Odd place for delete down there, but hey, whatever floats your boat. And row 4 coverage is pretty good with that. No raise lower. If you're using an ortho keyboard, you're probably going to have to go to the novelties to get all of the raise and lowers. I tend to use 3 FN keys. 2 of them are for the same layer pretty much, but that's how I tend to do it. So this looked very promising, and this probably covers a bunch of keyboards out there. But as far as most of the 40s I tend to see, and again, you can outfit those however many ways you want. It's not great for the 40s. It tries, it makes a valiant effort, but unless you're really willing to compromise, and Cat's a pretty steep sculpt on there, unless you're willing to really compromise the uniformity of the profile in the rows, this this misses a lot of the beats. No row 2 escape is a big one. No row 3 tab. I mean, that's a pretty common one. And there's not even like a smaller control that can kind of fit into that niche there. Yeah, so Cat is, I'd call it 40 unfriendly. 40 okay on that one. Luckily, the kits aren't too expensive. So if novelties, let's take a look at the novelties. Okay, so we have some 1 unit row 2. We have some 1 units row 3. No 1 1/4 that can cover that niche for a lot of the tab keys, and some decent coverage for row 4. So you can fill in some of the blanks with the novelties, but you're going to spend an extra $28 for that. I mean, I've done that. My laser SA keycaps I'm using right now, I do that with. And that's because they didn't come with like a row 1 backspace. I mean, sorry, row 2 backspace or a additional FN key. So the ortho kit for the SA laser keycaps was oddly un-40 friendly. Luckily, I was buying the novelties anyway. However, I had to spend the extra money. There's a difference between voluntarily spending the extra money and having to spend the extra money. If you don't have to spend the extra money, then it doesn't hurt as much when you have to. Even if you're buying the novelties anyway, or an extra kit anyway, that gives you that extra coverage. Having to do it just is not a good experience in my opinion. And I'm not knocking Cat Lala for this. That's probably not how you actually say that. Cat Lala. Because it looks like they made a pretty good effort in, giving you a lot of keycaps for $40 here, but it's just not the most 40 friendly. Probably 65%, 60%, 70% this is probably heaven for you. 40, not so much, especially if you're using ortho or ergo keyboards. Okay, so we are at the key.co here for the Infinikey comfy keycaps. Yeah, that's a good job there. Got on the second try, making it work. Okay, and we have icon mods. Okay, and sometimes with icon mods, if you don't have what you need, you can kind of delude yourself into accepting the wrong modifier sometimes. So that's kind of nice. But let's check out our what we got coverage here for. Okay, so 1.5 unit backspace. Okay. We have ISO coverage, so we got a 1 1/4 shift on row 4, which we have that. We have 175. We have 225. Actually, let's see here. They give you a 125 intro. It looks like. No, that's shift. That's shift there. And what is that? Okay, so they give you a row 4 1 1/4 tab. That's what that up arrow is with the line underneath. That's kind of weird. We have fantastic coverage for the modifiers for bottom row. You get, just looking here, you get 1 unit system, you get 1 unit control, you get 2 of those. 1 unit alt. They also give you 1.5 units of each of those. You get 1 1/4 units control. You have, okay, so I might be able to lie to myself and say, hey, that page down could be an FN key. But you also have the fence post, looks like. It's probably has a very specific use. Okay, it looks like that is end. That's an end key there, but hey, I'm willing to lie to myself about that. We have stacked papers. I don't see stacked papers on the base kit, so that can be anything. I call that stacked papers. It's probably not. It's probably shifty. That's actually throw lock, but only on the specific type of key. Whatever. They got it there for you. That can also, I guess, be a menu. So this actually, starting off here, has some decent coverage. Okay. Comfy key looks like it's bringing it for $90. Okay. That's pretty good. What are these made out of? They're PBT, die subbed. Okay. Some people prefer PBT and die subbed. If you work in an environment where you have chemicals around, PBT's nice. Extension kit, $45. Okay, so we're looking at $135 here for the entire kit. Both of these, we only have 2 of these kits. Looks like they've both met their MOQ there. I like this. I like this already. Space bars, you're covered. They even got you the extra B in there. You get the novelties. Are those novelties? Oh, I think that's just a numpad. What is that? They're on the bottom right. Okay, well, we're going to skip over that. Bottom left. That's a big thing. Row 2, we got backspace. We got tab. We got escape. We got an asterisk if you're kinky. No judgment here. Missing the 1.5 unit backspace, but we have that already in the base kit. Okay, we got that in the base kit. Row 3, we got 1 unit enter. We got 1.5 unit enter. We got 175 enter. We got 1 unit tab. We got 125 tab. We have an extra escape if you do that. That levels thing, whatever that does. A blank key if you're feeling a little wild there. Go for it. Row 4. Shift. What was that? Just that arrow. These are confusing me. Tab. Okay, that's tab. That's what that's doing. That's a different tab. I guess I know that's caps lock. Okay, so they give you a caps lock there. Raise, lower, keys, enter. Oh man, Infinikey comfy keycaps. These are 40 friendly. This is a good kit if you like this and you have an ortho kit, an ergo keyboard, or a staggered 4% keyboard. This actually is pretty good. And all these are in the extension kit. So, I mean, if you need to make up some distance here, like I mentioned, we're probably light on the FN keys for the bottom row. If you're fine with using raise and enter, they're icons, so I'm usually pretty fine with that. But we have quite a few extras in the core kit to have you covered there. So for 135, base kit was 90. Don't look too closely at my math. I'm doing all these at once. Infinikey comfy keycaps. These things are 40 friendly. This is a good set. I like this set. I'm not going to buy this set. No, I'm not going to buy this set. But yeah, this one's good to go with 40%. Way to go. Okay, now we have one of my favorite profiles, SA. Nightlight. This is on Kano keycaps. And we have an ortho kit. Just taking a look here. Alternatives. That might have us. Well, we'll see. So let's take a look here at the base kit. Base kit looks like it has us covered with TKL, but not much extra in that. Okay. So row 1 delete, if you're into that. Not a lot of judgment on my side. Different strokes for different folks, you weirdos. And that's good for cores. Let's take a look at that ortho kit. Okay, that ortho kit for $50 is alpha. It looks like it's alphas as well as modifiers. That's pretty good. And this is SA's signature plastic. SA. Yeah, double shot ABS plastic signature plastics. That's a hell of a deal there, actually. If you use ortho. If you're staggered 40%. So what do we got here? Okay, so shoot. And these scopes are these all row 3? These look like they're all row 3. Do we have any clarification on that? Let's see if I can tell here. Let's do some sleuthing here. Yeah, going off the lighting and these renders. Yes, these are sculpted. With as far as the ortho kit, looks like this is uniform row 3. Just going off the way the light's reflecting in there. I'm probably wrong. God, that looks like it's all... It's hard to tell sometimes with the 40s. No, it's sculpted. Okay, it's sculpted if I take a really close look at it. Okay, so no row 3 enter. That kind of sucks. For me, personally. If you're using default plank layout, this kind of sucks, actually. Because that usually has row 2 tab, row 3 escape. And if you're using like a Preonic and you have a row 1 backspace, that's going to be a little awkward there. Everything else looks all right. Looks like we can fill in any row with a blank keycap. I don't like doing that. I'm spending money on double shot ABS keycaps. I want to have my keycaps there. I don't want to like, oh yeah, I don't have a row 3, enter or anything, but I got a blank keycap there, so that's doing its thing. Row 3 FN. I can't move up to the row 4. Oh. Now you can potentially, I think you can get pretty close with flipping around row 2 and row 4. So if you need a lot of modifiers, this is all right for ortho. This will probably have most people happy, but it's just missing some of the extras. Give me a row 3 inner. Give me an row 4 FN key. Give me some. I mean, that row 3 from, I can tell you right now, for my own personal use, that row 3, those blank keycaps, I'm using for the lower and raise. I don't tend to use the lower and raise myself. That's a personal thing. That's probably just something weird. And of course, I can spend $28 on novelties. Again, for me, if this was like my go-to keycap set, I'd probably do that because I like to have some novelties on my board on occasion, especially for SA. But having to do it just kind of sucks. And for me, I kind of like this colorway, but this would totally turn me off personally. So it is the SA Nightlight 40 friendly? No, it's not. As alternate sets, it's got the 65% covered, but not really much else, unfortunately, with that. Oh, I can get my row 4 FN. I can buy an extra kit there. Yeah. But is it 40 friendly? No. No, it's fairly ortho friendly. Kinda. It's ortho okay, but I wouldn't call this one 40 friendly. You're going to have to buy extra kits for it. You can get the coverage you need for some stuff, especially if you're willing to fill in the blanks with novelties, but this isn't what I'd consider a 40 friendly keyboard. That's repeating myself a lot there. I do that, if you haven't noticed. Okay, DSA Pastel Toys is next one we have up here. And they got these things broken down. Ortho kit. Let's take a look here at this ortho kit. God, that is hard to see. But my hover zoom is coming into play here. No. So default. Oh well, what are these? What's the? Oh, it's DSA. I'm sorry. This thing's DSA. Did it again. Come on, zoom in. Okay, so this one's good to go. If you got an ortho keyboard or an ergo keyboard, this might have you covered. If you're willing to get away with 1 unit space bars, which I do actually. I think the only one of my corns that has the 1.5 unit space bars is my low profile, because I can get those pretty cheap with the MBK keycaps, which are very good. But man, yeah, this works pretty well. This one's all right because you can substitute any of these keycaps any place you need them. I can use those blanks up at top for my lower and raise if I don't want to have lower and raise. Signature plastic ABS double shot, which are very thin keycaps, admittedly, but they look nice and they feel nice. Well, don't sound the best, but they're all right there. So this one, if you're rocking ortho, oh yeah, let's take a look here at the specialties. No. Let's see here. If they even claim to be fair, I mean, they're not claiming to be covering 40s here, so I can't knock them that much. If you're rocking orthos, DSA Pastel Toys, you're good. But if you're rocking a staggered 40, this is not the kit for you, unfortunately. So 40 friendly, no. Ortho friendly, yes. Okay, Bliss. SA Bliss from Minterly Studios. This one's interesting. I know someone who would. Okay, so you can get basic alphas with it. Okay, good. About to say. Let's see, and these are sculpted SA. Okay, so looks like we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. So we're looking at 2, 3, 4, 3. So anything on the bottom row can also go on that middle row. Oh, whoa, what's this? Oh God, forgive me. And we get light modifiers as well as dark modifier, or light alphas along with dark alphas, along with sinful alphas. Modifiers. Pretty basic TKL coverage on this guy. Let's see, how do I go back? Oh, it went back too far. Oh no. Well, if you're willing to disappoint your family, you got an ortho keyboard, I'm going to tell you right now, you're squared away. $35, they got you. Are these signature? Yeah, so these are signature plastic, $35. Signature plastic always comes in at a pretty decent price. The bundle. I think that includes a keyboard in there. So, is this 40 friendly? No. Is it ortho friendly? No. Unless you're a disappointment. If you're a disappointment, I gotta tell you guys, this thing I'm gonna have to send this to a friend of mine. He's probably gonna have to build a keyboard just for these keycaps. Oh man. No, so SA Sculpted Bliss, 40 friendly, no. Unless you have no shame. Okay, next up we have SA Jadeite. Jadeite. That's how I'm gonna pronounce it. It's wrong. I'm gonna say it anyway. SA, are these PBT SA or are these signature plastic SAs? Both are good. Let's see. I'm probably missing it. I'll probably annotate if I can find it out. Okay, so we got alphas. We buy modifiers separately. Ortho 40s. Let's take a look. And they also have a little bit of 50 coverage there. Row 1 looks all right. Looks all right. It looks like we have a 1.5 unit backspace in there. So we have some large backspaces. We have both tab and escape. Row 3, we got tab, escape, 1 unit enter. We're using larger returns. Looks like we got 175, 1.5 for that. We have a 1.25 tab. And of course, we're not going to have the greens on the right side of the keyboard since it's going with that gradient. Row 4, we're not shiftless. They gave us the extra enter in there. But no FN. I'm going to let, honestly, I do let that slide usually. So if you're rocking a core, then again, or a row 4 FN key, you're just gonna have to probably live with the row 3 profile for that. Not great, but you do what you do. No delete. Okay, so if you use a 1 unit delete key, or if you're rocking a core, this is not going to be able to give you full coverage on here. Let's see. However, our bottom row modifiers look pretty good. We got those covered. Okay, they got us there. The space bars, looks like we have pretty decent coverage with those. So, and they even give us the extra also give us the extra up key for the row 4. We got, it looks like a 1.25 shift. Okay. This one's pretty good. This is pretty good. We also have a 175 shift as well. So, that is all right. We're going to call this one 40 pretty good. We're going to call it 40 pretty good for $75. Woo! That's jumping up there. And you'll probably, God, what do we have to do to get that 1 unit delete key, though? That is the question. Without having to go to novelties. So if you are dead set on having a 1 unit delete key, or if you're using a core, you are gonna have to spend extra $75. So for the most part, this is pretty 40 friendly. It's pretty ortho friendly. I'd say it's very ortho and ergo friendly. But man, not having that delete key on the 40 kit, having to spend an extra 75 for the modifiers, just they're probably thinking, well, why wouldn't you buy the modifiers, for the keyboards you actually use? Well, some of us only use 40% keyboards. This one's expensive. Here's a picture of a 40%. And oftentimes you're fine on the right side. Or you're fine on the left side. It's the right side you got a problem with. And this is one of those instances, if you need a 1 unit backspace, either spend $75 or potentially go to your novelties. Do we have a row? No row 2. Yeah, so you're going to have a mismatched profile there. So close on that one, but just does not hit with it. Okay, looks like we got 2 more to go. So we're looking at SA Dualshot keycaps. And let's go ahead and take a look. Looks like they start off here with a base layout that gives you both alphas and modifiers. see, is the zoom better? Or, yeah, zoom works. Oh, we got FN for row 4. That's always nice to see. I think we got 175 shift. That's kind of, yeah, we got 2 FNs on there. Okay. If you want to get a little creative for the color, I like that shade of blue. They kind of have you with the modifiers. They give you 1 control, 1 unit, 1 alt. Okay. Windows keys are abundant. If you're using a 1 unit Windows key, of course, I imagine a lot of people are probably just using the 1 1/4 Windows key, which of course comes with the base modifiers. No menu. I like to see a menu key in there because I actually kind of use that. Don't ask me why, but I do. Okay, numbers, numpad, bars, space bars. They have some stuff there, but not very much. Novelties, accents. Of course, ISO doesn't have us. They do get you that 1 1/4 shift though. So is the SA Dualshot Keycap set 40 friendly? No, it's not. Pretty neat little set, but that is not the way for the 40%. And we're going to end up with GMK Monokai material set here. I am probably butchering that name, but what you going to do? Probably actually spend the time to be sensitive and considerate and learn how to pronounce things. That's not how Shifty rolls. Shifty's going to get canceled. Okay, so it's GMK. We got base set. Let's see what that base set covers. Okay, so we got some wonky modifiers. So if you're willing to kind of scrub that suspension of disbelief of what these modifiers mean, well, you might be able to get away with some things. Because it looks like even between the same type of keycaps, they don't always match up there. That's interesting. Okay. And the extension. Okay, so this is kind of a hard one. I would say that if you don't care what your modifiers say, and you like this, you can make it work. I know I could. I could make this work. I had no backspace. I guess I could put... This one is... If you're creative, this is 40 friendly. If you're picky, this is not 40 friendly. These kind of kits always are kind of difficult because there's like the commit, the apply, is that enter? Can I use that for enter? Tag? Now if I go to the base kit, tags tab, okay, commit is enter. But apply I guess could also be enter because you have that over there in the numpad. And just fill in the gaps there, I guess. So this can be 40 friendly. If you are open-minded. If you want to believe, if this just happens to be all the right colors, go for it. Because I guess these can kind of mean whatever you want them to mean in context. That's how I would use it. Of course, somebody's probably looking, actually, these all have very specific uses. And if you put it in the wrong place, and I see that posted on Reddit or Instagram, I will crawl through the internet and choke you. If you're one of those, this is not the keycap set for you. Okay, so that is all the group buys. Going from the beginning of October to later in October. By the time I get this up, there was like GMK Sloth. I'm not going to have this video up by the 3rd, probably. Or it's going to be up on the 3rd. And, you're going to see this and go, oh, wow, that's perfect. I really want to get that. And then you actually look and, it's another ended group buy. There's some more flashbacks there for you. Okay, so that is the first episode of Is It 40 Friendly? Again, I apologize. These are going to get better in the future. Bear with me. If you did enjoy this video, do feel free to like or comment and subscribe because there will be more of these coming in the future. If there's anything I missed, the next episode should be coming out around the 15th, give or take a little bit. And right after I stop blabbering, I'll show the intro I'm going to use for this series. And I'm going to include comments in the Reddit post, as well as I'm going to try to get something figured out here for the YouTube post. As whether or not you liked it, I'm going to have one, hey, I liked the intro. Another one, hey, I really hated the intro. And upvote whichever one you agree more with. So without much further ado, let's go ahead and watch that awkward intro I've thought of. And I also hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And thank you for watching this long. You must have quite a bit of endurance.
Are you an aficionado of the tiny keyboard? Are you in need of keycap for that tiny keyboard? Well, today we are going to seek and see what group buys are available so that a year and a half maybe, it's good to expect delays. Your tiny keyboard will be outfitted with keycap, and all will be well. So stay tuned.